So I'm not going back and forth with a man who thinks that they should be in my position. If you want to be in my position, get in my position.
Do you believe that?
Bluff City Media presents The Anthony Sain Show on YouTube at Bluff City Media. Stepping up to the microphone is your host, Anthony Sain.
Acknowledge me.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to The Anthony Sain Show. This is your host, of course, Anthony Sain. Got Kenny Stubblefield, per usual, behind the glass, as well as Parrish Sharkey. Gentlemen, what's going on back there, man?
Man, everything is good over here, but let me just tell you something, man.
Mm-hmm.
Parrish is off the mic today. He's undertaking a world domination plot over here.
Okay.
So he is mic-less today.
Yeah,
but he's here.
I saw him in studio, but I hear you telling me now that he won't be joining us verbally, and that's fine. That's cool for sure.
He's plotting something, man. I see him over here working on something right now, man.
Yeah, probably getting his sermon together. Probably
got his Bible study.
Got Bible study going on. I need that not to be about world domination, though.
Not world domination.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, my man Parrish Sharkey definitely in the building. Also going to have my man Parker Fleming of the Substack Elitist. Substack. He's going to come on today. Parker Fleming, formerly of Bluff City Media. Now he's doing this thing independently for himself over at the Substack Elitist Substack, where he covers the Memphis Grizzlies. Donates to St. Jude as well. Going to talk to him about that as well, talking about all things Memphis Grizzlies. Parker's a very intelligent guy. He can break down what you're seeing on the court and not just talk about whether it's good or bad. He can really break down, film, plays, all those strategy, all those type of things. Very smart guy. I've watched Parker from being a college student at Ole Miss to just kind of climb in this media world. I'm going to get my guy Parker Fleming on. Sure, it's going to be a great interview with him.
Let me ask you a question. Do you have any recollection of Jake Sakalides playing basketball for the Grizzlies?
Yes, for 100%. He was a big man. They got him that year doing when they first got Hubie Brown, and they kind of overhauled. Hubie Brown's thing was, we've got to increase the talent level on this team from top to bottom. We've got too many guys based on this roster that can't play. So they made a lot of moves over the offseason just to get guys that are decent NBA players, actual NBA players on the team. And Jake Sakalides is one of those guys they brought in from Phoenix. He played for the Phoenix Suns.
Yep.
He was pretty terrible as far as I remember. But he probably was better than, Tony Massenberg, whoever was here, before him or whatever. But I definitely remember him.
Was Bo Outlaw here?
He came that year too. I want to say that we traded, can't remember who we dealt, but we sent somebody to Phoenix and we got back Bo Outlaw and Sakalides, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Bo Outlaw was on Phoenix too that year. Yeah, he was part of that talent overhaul. Like, let's just get some bunch of mid dudes on the team and see if we get better. And they got better.
They did get better.
Yeah, under Coach Hubie Brown for sure. Parker Fleming will be joining us for the sit down with Sain. But Kenny Stubblefield, since the last time we talked, I am highly upset, man.
Oh, man.
ESPN, you dastardly dogs you. Last week had
some crazy stuff, man.
Yeah, last week had us feeling good. They picked the Grizzlies to be first in the West with about 48.5 wins.
Wow.
And I can see a timeline where the Grizzlies are first in the West. Yeah. I can see Denver not really giving a damn, just focusing on being healthy.
Right.
Not being super locked in. I haven't seen Jokic. I'm assuming he's a little chubby. I'm assuming he's probably, gained some just won a championship pounds. I can see that. I can see him not really being too locked in this year and them, being the second seed as opposed to the first seed. I can see that.
Right.
I can see Phoenix, knowing we're a team that's, we've got to be healthy to win, kind of having that same type of approach. Not really taking the regular season super serious. I can see that. I can see the Lakers. They're gonna that team. If LeBron or AD are missing, they're not the same team. You know what I mean? I can see the Grizzlies being first in the West, and ESPN's reportedly felt the same way.
Yeah,
they predict us to be first in the West because of those type of factors. And what a difference a few days makes.
What a difference.
You put out your list of the top 100 players in the NBA. Desmond Bane jumps in at 61.
60. One of the top two shooters in the whole entire world.
Desmond Bane jumps in at number 61. Jaren Jackson Jr., the reigning MVP. The reigning Defensive Player of the Year, comes in at number 31. If you just gave me that, I'd be like, I can. Jaren's top 25 to me, but if you, all right, whatever. I think that's a little slight to Jaren. Desmond Baines is disgusting, in my opinion. Then we get Ja Morant. Former All-NBA player, 2-time All-Star. One of the most dynamic offensively players in the NBA, Ja Morant.
Signature shoe with Nike.
All these type of things. Led a team to the second best record in the West 2 years in a row.
Right.
The team was a play-in team his first season in the NBA. If it weren't for the bubble, he probably would have been a playoff team. Wasn't for the pandemic, probably would have been a playoff team his first season. Go look at how many guys have done that, have came in as the best player on the team as a rookie, and led them to the playoffs or whatever. It don't happen often. That guy was number 35 on their list, Kenny Stubblefield. The same people that said the Grizzlies will be the first team in the West, they're going to get that done with just some regular dudes, supposedly, according to the ESPN. Guys of note that are in front of Ja Morant, Kenny Stubblefield. Paolo Banchero.
Crazy. Get out of my face with that.
The rated rookie of the year. ESPN is telling me that Paolo Banchero is better than Ja Morant. Did Paolo Banchero lead the Orlando Magic to the playoffs last year?
Without a doubt, no.
No, they were ass. Just to be honest with you. Had no real effect on them. They didn't really get much better, thanks to Paolo Banchero, who's rookie of the year. Trae Young, who I also think is underrated. I don't think he should be where he was, but he's not better than Ja, is the point I'm trying to make. Lauri Markkanen, get out of my face, had a great year last year, All-Star, most improved player. Had an incredible season last year. He ain't better than Ja Morant. De'Aaron Fox. Don't tell me this is based off who's done something, because De'Aaron Fox ain't never done nothing. First playoff berth in his career, he ain't better than Ja. I love De'Aaron Fox's game. Domantas Sabonis shouldn't be on here higher than Jaren, and he definitely shouldn't be on here higher than Ja.
Yeah.
You know what's coming.
My favorite one.
Here it comes.
I believe in this one, though.
Stop. So you about to be mad for real, bro. Because you got my notes. You're looking at the same notes I'm looking at, so you know what's coming. The media plan himself, Tyrese Halliburton, checks in at number 21.
Let's go, Hallie.
You telling me out of 480 dudes in the NBA that Tyrese Halliburton is top 25. He's top 21.
Man, get out of my face.
Man,
that's
y'all
crazy.
better stop, man. Y'all better stop this stuff, man. And you've heard all week long on podcasts and radio everyone talking about how disgusting this list is. Let's get into why it may be so disgusting. I don't know if you threw in that were able to throw in the Unsolved Mysteries music. Did you do that last time?
I did.
All right, well, if you have that still ready, Kenny, that should start right about now, because we're going to jump into the conspiracy theories.
Let's go.
Early today, man. I talk about media plants a lot, and I'm going to give y'all the next exhibit when it comes down to media plants, or what I think a media plant is in NBA. I'll give you an example of it, then I'll break it down for you. Adrian Wojnarowski in I'm not sure what this was on. I don't watch ESPN at all. I'm sorry. I don't watch any. I think
it was just on NBA Countdown or NBA whatever.
I don't watch none of that. All right, so Wojnarowski comes on. He says that the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that has not made the playoffs since they got rid of Russell Westbrook, Paul George, those guys. That team, they did. They made it with Chris Paul.
Yeah, they made it with Chris Paul the next year.
They made the playoffs, though? Yeah, they did. Yeah, okay, yeah. A team that ain't made the play. This iteration of the Oklahoma City Thunder has not made the playoffs. They made the play-in last year and got put out by I don't know. They got put out by somebody. But I don't even think they've had a winning record, this iteration of Oklahoma City Thunder. Adrian Wojnarowski says that this Oklahoma City team has 4 potential All-Stars. Kenny Stubblefield and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who is top 10 in the NBA, according to ESPN. Ain't never won nothing. Never been on a winning team. But he's top 10 in the NBA. Oh, how they move the narratives. Oh, how they move the chains. Josh Giddey, he says, future All-Star Josh Giddey. Jalen Williams, who I love. I think he might be related to C.J. Hurt, but I think that might be his, clone. But he ain't no future All-Star. Not in the NBA album.
We like his game.
You ever play NBA 2K, bro?
All the time.
And you can start like a My League or something.
Yeah.
And you look at just like random dudes that make the All-Star team, or like,
right.
Yeah, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like real life.
Right. This ain't NBA 2K All-Star.
Right. And he said that, okay, I'm gonna tell you how good this Oklahoma City Thunder team is gonna be, man. They've got top 10 player in the league in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and future league MVP in Chet Holmgren.
What is going? I mean,
according to Agent Rosenowski, potential future MVP Chet Holmgren.
I don't want to stick on that too long because that's absurd. But what is it? He literally hasn't played a meaningful game in his NBA career.
Matter of fact, he hasn't played a NBA game in his career.
An NBA game. He hasn't played.
Future
and
MVP.
He's a future MVP.
And he let equal straw man
Victor Wembanyama
put him on his ass the other night.
And then he complained about it on Twitter. Headbutts really, man,
get your ugly ass about it. All right. Now I'm gonna talk about media plants. I'm talking about my media plant theory. These are the things that we that you get here only on the Anthony Sain show that you would not get on any radio show, any other podcast.
That's right.
Media plant theory. Kenny, there are certain guys in the NBA that are enigmatic players. They're just, no matter what you're trying to do, no matter what you try to stop them with, whatever, they're going to be appealing to a large fan base, right? Ja Morant has a 25-game suspension. I guarantee you, when he comes back, kids are going to go crazy. Sports Center is going to go crazy. They're going to follow Ja Morant.
There's going to be returns to. You think Tim McMahon's going to come in?
Yeah, Tim McMahon's going to be in town. The countdown to Ja returning, all those things you're going to see all that. You're going to see the Ja Morant cam. All these things are going to happen when Ja Morant comes back, especially if he stays squeaky clean, like you don't hear nothing from him. All these things are going to happen. Kyrie Irving is another guy, regardless of what he says, still has a huge following. Derrick Rose, as you see, guy hasn't been like a major player in the NBA in probably 10 years, but he's just an enigma. He's a huge talent. People are gonna love him.
I'll give you a personal example of it with BCM. We posted one little clip.
Yep.
YouTube short. It's got 20K views on it.
Derrick Rose.
Yep.
Derrick Rose. Like you got certain guys that, not saying the league doesn't want Derrick Rose out there, but a lot of stuff that Derrick Rose is saying, talking in code, if y'all really knew what he was talking about, the league would be as excited as about the Ja Morant Derrick Rose thing, because Derrick Rose is really on some other type stuff that But anyway, there are guys who they're just big names, but they're just guys that they don't need any help from the NBA.
Send it all.
Right. They don't need any help from the NBA to be those type of stars. You know, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Steph Curry. These guys are just beasts, right? They're going to be who they are regardless, no matter what the NBA thinks about it. Those things are cool. But when you have guys like that who, like Ja Morant, who have off-court issues he's had, Kyrie Irving has had the things he's had, the NBA doesn't particularly like the fact that those guys are larger than life. Kyrie Irving, of course, was number 34 on this list as well. You're telling me that Kyrie Irving is the 34th best player in the NBA. All right, anyway. This is what I think the NBA does. There are guys that they know are going to be their stars regardless, and they know they have to set up this next wave of stars when the Kevin Durant's, when the LeBron James, when the Steph Curry, when these guys leave out, right? So you start trying to develop this next wave of guys that we're going to put out to be team future. Your Jason Tatums, your Luka Doncic, your Giannis Antetokounmpos. All these guys who are your next wave of guys who are going to carry the league. And then you start making this next wave of guys who, because Giannis, Tatum, and Luka, those are your guys who are kind of up next, right? But they're going to be the guys in like a couple years. LeBron's 40, you know what I mean? So these guys are about to start fading away. So you got this wave of guys. Then you got your guys behind them who are going to be your next tier of dudes. I think Ja Morant is also in that tier with Tatum and them, all right? So what you start doing is, okay, if I'm an NBA, if I'm ESPN, who of course are working together on all this stuff, I'm going to start telling you who you need to like. And it's going to be a different type of guy to kind of play off of the guys that are going to be there anyway. Regardless of what Ja Morant does, he's a huge star. The NBA has to put him in the front. In the front, they don't care. If you question that, take a look at Ja Morant having a 25-game suspension, and the NBA doesn't start any Grizzlies national TV games until he comes back. Right. That shows you that regardless of what he's done off the court, the NBA and ESPN realize the national TV networks realize Ja Morant is a megastar.
He's a monster.
But what the NBA has to do to kind of circumvent that is, let me put these squeaky clean image guys that we want to put in front of you up there as well to kind of counteract some of the stuff we get with the guys that we don't have any control out of. They're going to be big. If they run over a dog in the street, they're still going to be stars.
Right.
So let me put the Tyrese Halliburtons in front of you. Let me put the Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders in front of you. The Josh Giddeys in a nice Christian. They play for this nice Christian
the
town.
Markkinen.
Right. The Lauri Markkanens, all these kind of guys. Let me force these guys in front of you. Not particularly on national television games, but let me just kind of create these little sub agendas with these guys to kind of make them those second tier stars that we're gonna like put out in front as well.
The Chet Holmgrens.
Right, the Chet Holmgrens and all these type of dudes. The guys who in the summertime have their mission work they have to do and all this. Like, they're doing this on purpose, man. Like, if anybody can't see this, like, come on, man. Do not sit there and tell me that you really think that Tyrese Halliburton is a top 20 player in the NBA who's never been to the playoffs, never been close to the play. He's only been in the league a couple years. But come on, man.
He's been traded already.
You telling me like that dude, Ja Morant, his rookie year
was the best player on his team.
Took a lottery team to the playoffs.
Let's not forget, Memphis had the number 2 pick in the entire draft.
Right.
And he took them to the playoffs that rookie year.
Not to the play-in. That team was a play-in. That team was a playoff team, man. If you're giving credit to Oklahoma City Thunder for what they're doing, the Grizzlies did the same thing with rookie Ja Morant. Like, these dudes are clear plants, man. The NBA is literally trying to force these dudes down your throat. When you see these top 50, top 100 lists, whatever, and you see all these guys like get out. Dude, do not sit here and tell me, Adrian Wojnarowski, that the Oklahoma City Thunder have 4 All-Stars. One of those guys is a top 10 player in the league, and another guy who's never played a game is your potential future league MVP. I just saw this dude get knocked off the court by Victor Wembanyama, who weighs about 85 pounds. Like, stop, man. Like, it's clear what these dudes are doing. And they love Jaren. If they do Grizzly stuff,
right,
and check that out too. Whenever the Grizzlies come on NBA TV, you're going to see nothing but Jaren Jackson Jr. stuff. Highlights, reading books to kids, going to vote, getting the vaccine shot, Black Lives Matter, Jaren. You're going to get all that stuff. You know what I mean? Like, all that's coming, man, because it's all about how the league is trying to put other stars in line to kind of counteract guys like Ja Morant, who's a bigger star than all those dudes. You know what I mean? Because they're like, okay, the guy who's really the star, the guy who's really going to sell the shoes and the kids really want to emulate, he's out here, doing this thing that we don't particularly approve of. So we got to create these other dudes. We got to we just can't let it be Ja's league. You know what I mean? We can't let it be that. So we got to counteract it with some dudes, especially when you talk about American players. You got to get the Halliburtons out there. You got to get the, those type of young guys who could be like an American face or whatever, to go with the Jason Tatums, whatever. But it's just my theory, man. You guys might not believe me at all. You might think I'm crazy, but I'll take that too.
I mean, I don't believe in coincidences at all.
Yeah.
And there's no way. I mean, you look at that list, and I just
it's the good guys, man.
It's the guys that are more palatable to the NBA image. The Tyrese Halliburton's a great player. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, great player. These guys are good players. Shai is a good player. SGA can play ball. But come on, man. Ja's inevitable, man.
But the conspiracy is real. Yeah, he's a cornball. Like, come on, man. Like, he's like WWE. Like, had a show the other night, and Tyrese Halliburton was in the locker room interviewing wrestlers. Come on, man. It's obvious what they're doing to us, Kenny. They forcing this man down our throats. Pause. But yeah, we're about to take a break, man. When we come back, my man Parker Fleming is going to be in the building. Oh, you should have saw Parker Fleming. Speaking of forcing yourself down, Parker Fleming had to force himself on. He saw Tyrese Halliburton and got giddy like Josh Giddey at the game the other night, man, for sure. I'm not going to mess with him about that. Not going to mess with him. I might, but I don't think I will.
He's a big Tyrese fan, huh?
Oh, yeah, man. Almost lost his mind when he saw Tyrese Halliburton. He was like, oh, the media plan got me, man. But yeah, we're about to take a break, but we come back, my man Parker Fleming. We're going to chop it up. We're going to talk Grizzlies. We're going to talk about the beneficial things he's doing for St. Jude with his Substack. We're going to talk to Parker about those things and more here on Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
Seth Hennigan. We've been critical of him and his performance and turning the ball over, and this game was really on his shoulders, and he delivered.
He delivered, man. It just felt very uninspiring the first, quarter and a half or quarter and three quarters of the second quarter. It just felt completely uninspired football coming from the Tigers. And a lot of it was on, with Seth, the way that he was, there just didn't seem to be a whole lot of, let's go. Like, what's the word I'm looking for? Just
sense of
urgency to really get things going. And then that shifted, man.
It wasn't his most passing yards or his most touchdowns or his most completions, but just as far as managing the game and keeping the team in the game and it was definitely the best performance from this year. And just thinking back, it's definitely up there for his best performance in a Memphis uniform.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
Shout out to freaking Gillis for stepping in and looking like a kicker.
Was that not the weirdest tweet ever?
I don't want to even. It's disgusting. How do both of your scholarship kickers the first tweet I saw didn't say anything about injury, so I was like, it is the stomach bug. The Willis household has it. He was hanging out with Seth and Tristan.
Yeah, we all went to Firehouse.
They must have been roommates.
YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
All right, y'all, welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Got a good friend of mine, my man, Parker Fleming, from the Substack, where you can check him out doing Grizzlies coverage. This is my man, Parker Fleming, in the building. What's going on, brother?
Man, nothing much. Glad to be here. I can't lie. Since I was stepping in with the tribal chief, I thought about wearing my Feelin' Uzi shirt.
Yeah.
But no, I'm glad to be here. Glad to be in the Bluff City studio for the first time. So ready to chop it up.
I don't remember my timeline correctly or not. I don't know if I started saying tribal chief and then you got behind it, like you made it official, or you started the tribal chief stuff.
You started tribal chief,
and you the first person to co-sign.
And I co-signed.
You legitimized it, bro.
I co-signed as a wrestling stan. I had to co-sign.
There you go. You've been a long time journalist in the city of Memphis, doing your thing on the independent tip now. Excited to see your stuff. Always share your stuff whenever I see it available. The Grizzlies are in the middle of the preseason. They're 2-0 so far. Got a game tonight. Seems like every time we record, we record a day before the actual show.
Yeah.
Seems like every time we record is game night, so we can't talk about the games until after the fact. They're 2-0 so far in the preseason. Some of the biggest things people are talking about, of course, are Derrick Rose and also Zaire Williams. We'll start with Zaire Williams first. He's definitely improved. I've been one of his biggest critics from him not playing in the summer league, from oddities of why he wasn't playing last year, and people talking about he's injured, but he's in the G League and all these all these type of things going on. I was the first person that was a critic of that, but I'll also be the first person that will put all those things to the side and say, hey, this kid has clearly put the work in. The offensive strategy is more open for him, and he's looked a lot better. What are your thoughts on Zaire Williams so far and what we've seen as compared to last season?
Yeah, I mean, he just looks confident. And, you know, I wasn't at media day. I know you were. I know P-Shark was. But the talk out of media day was about how confident he was, you know, stepping in and saying, nobody worked harder than me. I'm ready to go get that starting spot. Like, he was confident. And I think more specifically in that Milwaukee game on Tuesday night, he showed that confidence. Right. And I think one of the big things, and I know we're going to talk about this later, is just that in this revamped offense, he's not just sitting in the corner.
Right.
They're having him operate off side actions, running pick and roll. And, you know, I was talking to him the other night. I was asking about that jump pass that he did to Xavier Tillman. You know, he was snake dribbling that pick and roll. He was going up and just threw a dart to Xavier Tillman rolling. And I asked him about that. I'm like, what are the reads becoming as you're getting more comfortable in the pick and roll? And he's like, I'm 6'10". No one's going to block me. But also at the same time, he's 6'10". He can see the floor over whoever's trying to switch or stay with him on that screen. And so whether it's going to be the roll or a drive and kick, I really like the way Zaire Williams is being used this preseason, but also how he's taking advantage of that, because he's no longer just in the corner waiting for that three ball. He's making stuff happen. Right. And I think it could be a very good wrinkle for the Grizzlies half-court offense if they continue to tap into that part of his skill set. Yeah, like I said, man, I got to admit, he's been bringing it for sure. He hasn't had like a breakout game, but he just looks like a solid player. That can be a solid rotation player. I don't particularly need to see him being a guy that's a 20-something point per game scorer. I just need him, just give me 10 points, 30, anywhere from 33 to 35% from three, be a solid defender, and I think that's all this team really needs him to be. Yeah, and like, I was actually thinking about this on the way here, you know. With Zaire Williams, the three-point shot has been a struggle dating back to even high school. There's no track record of him being even an average three-point shooter dating back to Team USA, Oakland Soldiers, Sierra Canyon. But like you said, if he's just 33 to 35%, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to be a 40% three-point shooter. Everybody wants somebody to be a 40% three-point shooter. Only 40 guys did that last season. That's about one per team. The Grizzlies already got two. Nobody realizes how much the calculus of this team changes if Zaire Williams is just average from three, because of everything else that he can do, and the fact that he's a legitimate 6'10". Like you see him, like you see him standing next to Jaren. He's almost Jaren's height, and he's at the playing. He's not playing 3-4. He's playing 2-3. Yeah. Like, a lot changes if Zaire Williams finds that magic on the outside jumper. Yeah, for sure. So, Coach Jenkins is saying he's still, he could be still looking for his fifth starter. He could try another rotation in tonight's game. We don't know what's going to happen. I'm like, okay, Zaire is obviously looking like he should be that guy. Right. Shout out to Luke Kennard, one of the better shooters in the whole world. But he just doesn't look comfortable out there with the starters. He feels like he needs to be coming off the bench where he's playing against, with less pressure, you know, lesser defenders, lesser guys he's got to defend. Yeah. He doesn't look as comfortable. His shot hasn't been dropping. If his shot was dropping, we'd be saying Luke Kennard looks awesome starting. But do you think it's that, or do you think that Zaire needs to be starting regardless? I've always thought that this starting spot was the perfect chance to elevate a young wing's confidence, like they did with Santi last year. Because they could have made it easy and be like, okay, we're going to start Brandon Clark. He had a great end to the postseason. He pretty much won them that Minnesota series. We'll just make it easy, go best player available. But they wanted to build that confidence in Santi, and it paid off. And I always thought that was the pathway. And I don't think with Luke, it's necessarily just the pressure, the comfort level. At the end of the day, he's shot 45% from three in each of the past two seasons. He's going to hit shots, but they still need some sort of a punch off the bench, and that's where Luke Kennard comes in, in my opinion. So whether it's Zaire Williams, whether it's David Roddy, whether it's Jake LaRavia, I always thought use that spot on one of them, because you need one of those guys to hit for your postseason depth. When you get John Morant back, when you have Marcus Smart in the fold, you need one of those guys to at least be the 8th or 9th man immediately. And no better way to expedite that than having one of them start.
You had talked about Santi Aldama earlier. We've seen improvements with him. You talked about confidence with Zaire. We've seen Santi's confidence gain another boost when he played in FIBA this year.
Yeah.
Xavier Tillman's been playing well in preseason as well. What does the improvement of those two guys, or just being solid, just maintaining pretty much, what are those two guys, the role they play, how does that help guys like Jaren and Steven Adams going forward? The fact that there was the two guys that can be in that rotation with, like you said, a guy like Brandon Clark.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Obviously, you needed somebody to step up after Brandon Clark's injury because of the pop that Clark provided off the bench, but also the fact that him and Jaren together were really freaking good. Like, good enough to where you're like, this could be the front court of the future.
Right.
From the time they drafted Brandon Clark, that was the thought that he could be that. But I think with Santi and X, they provide a little something different. I think Santi provides that perimeter fluidity. I love the potential of him and Jaren together on the floor, but they need to make sure that the other three guys can help on the glass because they don't have that right now. But I think Santi provides his certain pizzazz on the floor, almost kind of like when the Grizzlies had Kyle Anderson. He was just a funky basketball player where you're like, I don't know how he made that happen, but he did, and it was cool. It was audacious, and then any given night he can win. He can win you a game. He can swing you a game. I think X is just the ultimate chess piece.
Yeah,
because let's say you have another situation like Minnesota where Karl Anthony Towns stretches out Steven Adams to the perimeter, and you're just getting eaten alive in the pick and roll. You can throw X in there on Karl Anthony Towns, and now you can throw him in there on Nikola Jokic. He's proven himself to be a guy that you could put on elite players. He did that with the Lakers series.
Rookie year, he did that a lot.
And he did that in his rookie year, too. Like, in the fact that Taylor Jenkins wants to switch more, and when it comes to who can switch, you have Jaren Jackson, Marcus Smart, and one of the top of that list is Xavier Tillman.
Yeah.
So I just think they're great chess pieces to have. I don't know if they'll provide the same level of impact that Brandon Clark did, but I think they're good, formidable pieces where you probably have one of the best 4 or 5 combinations in the entire league.
Right. I've talked a lot about Derrick Rose on Twitter and how he kind of changes so much.
Yeah.
The fact that you see him being a guy that's a competent player who can high IQ, who can physically go out there and play on the court. Like he didn't look like he's laboring out there at all. He didn't play much the second game. He played more minutes the first game than he played the second game, I believe. But with that being said, how much does he change the dynamic? Because I'm looking at this. If he's playing that well, and you're talking about going 3 guard anyway, when Ja comes back, how crazy would it be wild to say that your starting lineup is Derrick Rose, Desmond Bane, and Marcus Smart, as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like, who would be surprised to see something like that? But he kind of changes the dynamic because he looks like a guy that even after Ja comes back, I'm not burying that dude on the bench. You know what I mean?
I get that for sure.
So what do you think about Derrick Rose being a player that you can use throughout the entire season, possibly?
I think the fact that even at floor, if you decide, okay, if John Morant's not on the floor, but he's playing, you want Marcus Smart being the backup point guard, you still have Derrick Rose as the emergency break the glass kind of guy. And the fact that he's shown, okay, because even in that second game, he didn't score the ball well, but he still dished out 7 assists. So he's still facilitating and orchestrating the offense pretty well, even without his scoring. And I mean, Derrick Rose starting, like, I guess he's making it not.
You make me think about it.
He's not making it outlandish, but I had the same belief, the people like, oh, let's put Santi at the 3. I think if you're going with someone other than Luke in the wings, something went wrong.
Right.
That's why I'm not there on that boat. But I think the fact that, he provides, even at his age, his miles, his injury history, he's providing so much rim pressure. He's really working well off the pick and roll. And, he can find the slip pass. He's getting to his floater. And, I mean, some of the angles on those layups that he was hitting against Indiana, and it's not – they don't have Enes Kanter at the rim. They had Miles Turner at the rim. They had Isaiah Jackson at the rim, who's also a springy
rim protector,
rim protector. And he was getting shots up in those angles, hitting people with the heem, Like, the fact that he's still doing that after everything he's been through, after all these years, it's so, so cool to see. And even if he ultimately is just like a backup point guard who one in every 7 to 8 games, he provides a little microwave scoring. And then once Ja comes back, Derrick Rose just kind of phases out of the rotation. Even if it comes to that's a win, especially with everything else he's set to provide for this team.
Yeah, I'm torn about it, man, because I'm watching this dude hoop, and I know this team has been sort of playmakers, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, man, you got to find a way, even if you playing him off the ball a little bit, you know what I mean? Like, I want to see Derrick Rose on the court for sure. I think he still got something in there for sure. But I don't
Before
think
you move on, Anthony, let me ask you a question. Did Parker call the Hezzy the hee-hee?
No, heem.
That's what Gigi Jackson said. That's what Gigi Jackson said on Media Day.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. But what was I saying about Rose? Oh, I'm not sure Rose is a 2 games in 3 nights type guy. Because, he didn't play much this other game. That's another concern as far as if you say, well, let's start him the first 25 and see what that looks like. But yeah, I don't think he'll be able to do that.
I also got to add one thing, though, too. I think one thing that's really encouraging about his New York stint, especially last season, it's not like he missed a ton of games because he was hurt. He missed a ton of games because he was out of the rotation in favor of young guys. Right. So the fact that he's fresh, he's healthy, I think that says a lot about what he could provide this year for this team.
For sure. You talked earlier about the Grizzlies' new offense and how they're using Zaire Williams different. The Michael Cole, who was with me the other day, he's got a great article talking about new assistant coach Patrick St. Andrew installing a new offense and how that's benefiting to Zaire Williams. What are your thoughts on what you're seeing in the new offense under, like I said, Coach Patrick St. Andrew?
Yeah, I mean, one of the obviously I think they've emphasized spacing really well, and the fact that I think one thing that gets misconstrued is people equate spacing to shooting, but it's just like making sure that you're placing guys on the floor where a defense has to pay attention to them and gravitate, because that opens up the floor more, and also utilizing that space. And I think the greatest utilization of that space is where they've had Jaren Jackson Jr. So I think a big criticism within Grizzlies media, Grizzlies Twitter, is the fact that, before they had Steven Adams, and Steven Adams still needs to be at this spot. They have him around the high post to screen for handoffs, hitting cutters, but at the same time is putting Jaren in the corner.
Right.
Or in the dunker spot. He's not in the action, but right now they're putting him in actions where he's operating around the perimeter. He's getting a head of steam downhill against someone either smaller that he can out-muscle or someone he can just blow right past. One thing that they really do well, the Grizzlies, over the past couple of years, I got to give credit to Grizzlies Film on Twitter. He posts all these really cool clips. He has the name of these cuts, these sets, all that. Great account. But he pointed out how they usually have Ja on the weak side in an empty corner to do a stampede cut, where basically catch and you go. And they're having Jaren do that. And one thing that I thought was cool that I think it may have all of us go crazy is that they've been running inverted pick and rolls with Jaren as the ball handler. And either they had Conchar screening, Dez, Kennard. That's what they did a lot with Giannis, with guys like Pat Connaughton, Grayson Allen, is that you have the shooter kind of set like a ghost screen and flare, and then you kind of confuse the defense, and now Jaren's getting downhill.
You got 7 feet athletic.
Are they about to use Jaren like Giannis?
Yeah, I mean that's something. You were there too, I believe, man. When Coach Jenkins had his first press conference, there was things that people were saying about you got a young guy in Jaren, you had a young athletic guy in Giannis. Do you see any similarities? That was the question I asked him, actually.
Yeah.
Do you see any similarities? But I didn't think they would do some of the things they're doing now. But Jaren has that handle. He's not as strong as Giannis is. He's not going to bulldog you to the basket, but he could get there. I'm not saying he's going to turn to Giannis. But,
that's kind of tough to say because Giannis has a different kind of wiggle.
Things.
But Giannis doesn't have the jumper that Jaren does. Jaren can... We've seen him before where he'll drive and he'll step back or do that side step and gets to his 3-ball.
Or the floater.
Yeah. And I think it could even be enhanced with Marcus Smart coming here, because they had Marcus Smart screening for Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown a lot. Yeah. And you can use Marcus Smart in those actions as well. I'm excited for
it's going to be some nasty stuff, man. I'm down for all that for sure. Especially, another thing too, if you're running action for Jaren to do some of those things, to be more active in the play, it kind of makes Steven Adams more of a cheat code, where you can use him. I'm not gonna say he's expendable at all, but you can kind of just save him for different matchups and just kind of bullet teams in. or you can play smaller. You can play
Yeah.
David Roddy at the 4 or those type of matchups.
Yeah, and that's another wrinkle that they use for spacing is they're shifting David Roddy down to the 4, where I think he's naturally a 3-4
Yes.
instead of a 2-3. But also, too, you can also put Steven Adams around the dunker spot, where, like, if Jaren's driving, he gets to the rim. If he doesn't finish, Steven Adams is right there to
Easily
clean it
finish.
up.
Yep,
Like,
yep.
I think the Grizzlies they really emphasize studying the offense and making sure, okay, how can we elevate our half-court offense? Because that has been our weak point.
Hellified looks. So
They're getting really good looks. Kennard's gonna start hitting. Bane's gonna. Bane, I mean, he went 4 for 6 the other night. Jaren's been hitting. Like Marcus Smart, like he's
I think they'll be
average
fine.
shooter. I think they'll be fine. It's just preseason rust. You're getting back to playing NBA basketball, which is different than just open run.
Parker, I have a question for you real quick.
What up?
About the offense.
Yeah.
Ja's out for the first 25 games. A long time ago, when we first got started in this show, Anthony had a whole segment called Chasing Rudy Gay, where we talked about the Grizzlies, like the front office kind of basically told us and made the Grizzlies fans believe that Zach Randolph and Rudy Gay wouldn't be able to work together. And since then, the Grizzlies have been chasing a Rudy Gay. And he was correlating that with the offensive sets that are run without Ja on the court and with Ja on the court. And so you're talking a lot about, both of you guys are talking a lot about these actions that this new offense that's this, spacing and, implementing Jaren into the action more. How does this impact when Ja comes back? Like, what does this look like when Ja's back?
Yeah, I mean, I still think that there's still utilization with Ja. I mean, they're still going to run that Ja Morant, Steven Adams pick and roll, obviously, because you have probably the best screener in the NBA, but also, too, you had a guy that led the league in points in the paint as a 6'3" guard just 2 seasons ago. But, I mean, it's just you got to figure out how to tap into both his scoring and his playmaking. I've always said, especially with the leap of Desmond Bane, the leap of Jaren Jackson Jr., I would rather Ja be a 25-10 guy than a 30-6.
Yeah.
I want Ja, like I would love for Ja to be a 10 assist kind of game,
And those numbers always lead to winning.
It leads to winning, but
with this team,
I think there's some stuff to be tapped into as off ball, like him being utilized as a cutter, him getting into those similar actions, but instead of being at the center of the court, you're running that off the left wing with an empty corner where you had that space to kind of turn a corner, get downhill, get to the free throw line. Like, I don't think it's and this is what Taylor Jenkins and St. Andrews also have, it's St. Andrews, right? St. Andrews?
Patrick St. Andrew.
Yeah.
Man got a lot of Saints in his name.
Because there's like I didn't know, like I didn't want to get it all confused, but I think the biggest job this season is making sure how they can make it to be, instead of Ja or Jaren, they got to figure out a way to make it Ja and Jaren.
Yeah.
And I think, it does come down to Jaren too. Jaren's got to improve as a screener. He would get rid of the foul narrative if he learned how to set a more efficient screen.
Right.
But I think it comes down to that 2-man game.
Yeah. I was just about to say that it feels like we're finally about to see
We're almost there.
The John and Jaren 2-man game.
Yeah.
All praises to Patrick St. Andrew. Not to be confused with St. Patrick St. Andrew.
That's what I was getting confused with.
Across the street from FedEx Forum. Because Gabe went to that school. I think that school I know it's called St. Patrick, but I think it's St. Patrick / St. Andrew.
Yeah, but I'm very excited and optimistic. I mean, losing Darko that's a big loss, and
I've heard.
So I've heard, yeah. Like I think it is a big loss because he was instrumental in the development of guys like Desmond Bane. D'Anthony Melton and Grayson Allen became credible 40% 3-point shooters under his tenure. He worked a lot with Zaire, Kennard. Like, that's big. But
if this offense is what it is, I'll take
incredible.
This. Yeah,
like that's incredible.
I'll take this. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, everybody wants to be a head coach.
Yeah, if this offense is what it looks like, I mean,
for sure.
We haven't seen Marcus Smart so far in the preseason. A report saying he's got abdomen soreness, things like that. Coach Jenkins doesn't sound concerned. No one you talk to about it sound concerned. I haven't been in the locker room. He's not in the locker room either, right? Because
they don't make injured players available for that.
So I don't have much concern about it at all. I think he'll be ready for the regular season. Coach Jenkins, I believe, even said something like you could possibly see him in some preseason games. Do you have any concerns on not if he plays on opening night, which I think he'll be ready, but how do you think he'll look? Are we getting a version of him that might be out of shape? Is he, what version of him do you think we'll see when we actually do see Marcus Smart?
I think he'll be fine. I do think if there's any sort of struggle, it's more of him learning the system rather than him, being out of shape. Because I mean, he's always had a really stocky build. He's always kind of been built like a little bit of a taller version of Kyle Lowry. Like he's always been a stocky kind of guy. Like I'm not really worried or anything. These guys are pros. Marcus Smart's a pro. He does what he does. But I mean, maybe it's one of those things like, hey, everyone's learning the new offense, so there's no curve. But it's more of like, okay, because I know for a little bit it took Steven Adams to get used to the defensive coverages, and especially as the anchor, like what's it gonna be, that chemistry with Marcus Smart, Jaren Jackson Jr., Desmond Bane. Because I mean, Marcus Smart's also gonna be orchestrating the offense, so he's having to learn where guys like their spots. If I'm driving left downhill, is Luke in that corner or is he in that wing? Or, all right, Dez is driving to the right. Where do I need to be slotted? Do I need to relocate to the corner? Do I need to go to the top of the key to be there in case he gets stopped? All right, Steven's setting this screen. What's the angle at which I need to go around the screen? That's the kind of stuff that he's going to have to, I guess, learn. And if there's any concern of like how he looks and if he doesn't meet the expectations immediately, it's him learning his teammates. And I think he will. And I'm optimistic about Marcus Smart. I mean, shameless plug. Like I did a deep dive on Substack Elitis. I've watched every game he's played in the postseason over the past two playoffs and just broke down how he should help drive winning for them.
Right.
I'm not concerned because like at the end of the day, he's a complimentary guy. He's a guy that's set to complement and amplify what your team is around John Morant, Desmond Bane, Jaren Jackson Jr. So that's kind of how I'm not concerned.
Right. Well, with Marcus Smart, you mentioned the learning curve. You also talked about him having a stocky build. This is my Jarvis Greer transition here. Speaking of curves and stocky build, Kenneth Lofton Jr.
Dude, that's man.
That's my Jarvis Greer. Shout out to the OG, the GOAT, Jarvis Greer. Yeah, the infamous media day thrashing of Julia Lofton by Jarvis Greer. I don't want to put you in an awkward position, Parker, but I'm an observatist, if that's a word. I observe shit. I'd be like, some things just kind of make me say, or just like, okay, like I talked about the other day, I see things that just, okay, that doesn't seem like that belongs here. Like, so let me figure out why that's there, right? I do those type of things. That's the way I think often. So I'm listening to the Chris Vernon show, and he's talking about Kenneth Lofton, and he's saying how, this kid came back, he's over 300 pounds now, and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, all right, I don't really have anything negative to say about the preseason at all. Everything looks fine. Like my whole thing with Kenneth Lofton is he's not as good as people think he is, and he's not as bad as people think he is either.
Right.
He's somewhere in the middle. There's no rush to play this kid. He's 21 years old. He's probably only on the roster because of the injury last year. It wasn't for that, we're talking about a two-way player, and the narrative is totally different. You're not talking about playing him over anybody. You're just like, okay, wait and see. Let's see what he does.
Are we sure?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm just saying, like, junior high, like, two-way or not. Like, he could be a full-time hustle player.
Then you have people saying he should be on the roster. They should be cutting Conchar or whatever.
Sorry, I cut you off. Go
I
ahead.
know you're good. But my thing is, like, I love Junior Lofton. There's nobody on this team that's probably, like, for pure entertainment value, he stepped into that role of dealing So I'm like, all right. So my concern is I'm a little worried about Kenneth Lofton at this point, as far as being on this team long term. Because I'm like, I'm not going to say that Vernon was sent out, but I think he knows something. I think he's heard some type of rumbling about them being upset about how he came back to camp, or because I'm upset about how he came back to camp, because the guy looks like he really had a very jubilant offseason. Didn't look like he really was getting it in. I mean, and I'm a junior guy, you know what I mean? So, what is your concern? You may have none. You may be like, no, I wouldn't take anything from that, but I'm a little worried about the dude. Like, because I'm like, all right, if Vernon is saying this type of stuff, I've only seen him take, I'm not going to say a personal attack, but I haven't seen Vernon really criticize a dude like that other than Dylan. You know what I mean? And Dylan was the last guy I saw him do that with. And, of course, Dylan ain't here no more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I might just be, reaching. So what do you think about Junior?
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to pit anything like, what Vernon said or how Junior looks. I do think that, like, there is value in Kenneth Lofton Jr. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like, when Brandon Clark went down, when Steven Adams was hurt, they could have just cut Kennedy Chandler and brought in a vet.
Right.
Like, they could have just brought in a vet to have on the roster and had in the playoffs in case needed. I mean, no names come at the top of my head because
Dwight Howard is a name.
I'm not thinking about free
If y'all don't
agent.
stop talking about Dwight Howard, man, I promise I'm going to go off.
I am not thinking about free agency centers in my free time. So,
either.
like, I don't know who they could have signed, but, like, it showed that Junior showed them something with the hustle and in play groups where they're like, let's reward this guy. Let's see what he can become. Because, I mean, they gave him they call in the NBA world, they call it the Hinkie special, where it's like it's basically like a smaller rookie scale, but for guys that are undrafted or second round picks. They did the same with John Conchar before his extension. Right. They did it before with like Killian Tilly and Jonte Porter before they cut them. Like they did the same with Kenneth Lofton Jr. because they liked what they saw. And I mean, I'm not concerned. Because at the end of the day, you just have to go back and go sign someone else. It'd be one thing if it was like, okay, if he was competing with like Isaiah Todd and Josh Christopher, then it'd be like, okay, like this isn't great, but I mean, benefit of the doubt, Junior has a more favorable contract to keep, or more difficult contract to cut. I don't know how it'd be. I'm not concerned because at the end of the day, I mean, that game one, he scored the ball well, provided that pop, but also too, like in the game. In the Milwaukee game, I think that's probably not his best. He's performed in a Grizzlies uniform. But,
we did see him with the better players, though.
Yeah, even then, he had 3 offensive rebounds. He had 2 blocks. And, like, he struggled. Like, he has his flaws, but, like, I'm not concerned. And obviously, I know he's a decisive player because you have one end of the spectrum, the other end of the spectrum. Really, it's somewhere in the middle. Like, you could still point out where he's doing good, but acknowledge, hey, he may not play over Santi Aldama or Xavier Tillman. Those are good NBA players. Those are good rotation players on a playoff team. That's okay. Yeah. But also, too, you can acknowledge his flaws while also saying, hey, he's only 21 years old. There's time for him to improve on this stuff. But, I mean, circle everything back around. I'm not concerned.
Well, I am. I'm worried about my guy, man. I don't think I'd be able to deal with Kenneth Lofton not being.
I want him to be good. I really do. Like he's a fun player. Yeah. He kind of takes you back to the past. I mean, let's be real. If you drop Kenneth Lofton Jr. in the NBA like 15 years ago, there's a reality. He's a lotto pick. He's a borderline all-star, because of his skill set. But I'm not concerned. Yeah, man. They got to hang on to my boy, man. I can't see him go down like that. We talked about Zaire Williams, how he's kind of separated himself from his peers. 2 of his peers, David Roddy, Jake LaRavia. It seems like at least one of those here, except for this year, like you've competed for minutes, you competed for rotation spots. What's your advice to these young wings doing that? He goes, it doesn't stop here. Just because you don't win that rotation spot doesn't mean that you're not going to be in the rotation if somebody goes down, or if you're just winning your number. You got to be ready when your number's called. And I think you'll see it throughout the season. Because one thing I've really, really liked about the preseason is the fact that none of those guys, Zaire, Roddy, or LaRavia, have gotten me to the point where I'm like, you need to get this guy off the floor. I don't see how he could be in a rotation. I'm like, okay, any of these three guys could be in the rotation and impact the rotation. I do wish that they would put LaRavia in a situation where he can play more minutes in more games with the regular rotation, because I think you'll get an actualized view of his skill set, because I really like that he's embracing being aggressive and that's finally, resonating with him. Because the complaint last year was like, this dude has such a pretty jump shot, but he's not shooting the ball.
Right.
Now he's letting it fly, and percentage is going to be percentage. I mean, I think one of the things that gets construed with this percentages is the fact that he is the guy on the floor. He is the guy on the perimeter that's like, all right, Jake, go create a bucket. That's not going to be his role when he's playing with Desmond Bain, Jared Jackson Jr., all them. It's a toss-up, and I think it's a toss-up. It will happen throughout the season, but I don't think we'll know a definitive answer even after the final preseason game of who needs to play, because I think both of them have showed they could both get to the basket. I mean, Jake's shooting and making more threes. Roddy's fits more of the profile of the switcher and stopper, whereas LaRavia fits more of the, he's going to get you a couple steals, couple deflections. He may get you a block shot. He's going to create defensive events. But it's really tough for me to say who over who, because they're both playing solid basketball.
Yeah. So we'll have to see how that whole thing goes down. All right, real quick, gun to your head. We talked about Zaire. We know he's going to be playing. Luke's going to play. Derrick Rose probably going to play. You're probably going to see LaRavia and Roddy. Out of all them dudes, are they going to get John Conchar the hell about my rotation? Quick answer, yes or no? Here they go.
I can't go ahead, man.
Oh, my God, man. Y'all can't let go of Conchar, man. Y'all can't let go of John Conchar, man.
We'll see. We'll see.
My God. All right, we're going to move on. Final question from a man. Parker Fleming. Of sub to Sakalidis. Sub Sakalidis.
Right. Yeah.
His sub stack.
The original Big 12.
Give us information. Yeah, exactly. Give us information how we can go there. And I have a special question I want to ask you about your Substack. How do we get to your Substack first?
Yeah, so I post everything on Twitter, and since the season started, I've gone on all the social media platforms and post stuff like Twitter, put on my Instagram story. I also go into the Grizz Nation Facebook group and post it on there.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
You're boldly going, man.
Yeah, I'm trying out new applications like Threads and Blue Sky.
Yeah.
In case Twitter, X, whatever it is now, actually has its downfall. I post everything on there. It's in all my bios.
So just follow you on social.
Yeah, it's just follow my social media, or if you have the Substack app, find me on Substack, and I post everything there too.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
One of the big things that stands out about your particular Substack is that your proceeds go to St. Jude.
Yeah.
Tell us, I'm sorry, bro. Explain the significance of that whole donations going to St. Jude.
For sure. So I don't know, for people that don't
Pretend they don't know.
I'm going to pretend like y'all don't know. So my wife, she has had cancer since she was 14 years old. She's now 25 years old today, thriving. We're still dealing with stuff, but, we're, making it through. God's good.
Yeah.
And so she has a St. Jude fundraiser team every year called Alley's Allies. I actually have one of the shirts here that she designed to honor the 10th anniversary of her diagnosis. They're actually on Grind City Design, so just search Alley's Allies on Grind City Design, and you can get one of these shirts, two shirts, sweatshirts, all that. And so, when I was at the end of the season, just reflecting on my goals, and my big goal is, donate to St. Jude. I'm a part of her team. I'm a St. Jude Gold here. I want to raise money for this. So I was like, how can I do that? And it's intersecting my love for basketball and for writing and this. And it led me to creating the Substack.
Right.
And like, there's no strings attached. It's not like one of those things like, oh, if you donate, you can access this premium content. Like, you're getting the same content whether you pay or not.
Right.
Like, basically becoming a subscriber, even you read something, you click a link at the bottom of my page and donate from there and do a one-time donation. You're not getting anything. Like, it's just more of like, okay,
it's an opportunity.
I'm supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And you know, some of the stuff that it pays for, and like I have tier, like it's either $5 monthly or $50 annually. So it's just basically like, hey, this is basically you acknowledge like, hey, this is my monthly $5 or yearly $50 that's going to St. Jude. It pays for, you know, treatments for the kids such as chemo, radiation, physical therapy, but also too it or there's, you know, a certain amount of money pays for like oxygen for a patient, but also too there's like celebrations or events, like, you know, like they don't get to have like a normal birthday party. So like some of your, like they take donation money to pay for birthday parties, no more chemotherapy parties, different patient events. So that was just really on my heart, and you know, I've really enjoyed it. Like, we haven't even had basketball yet, and I've raised over $1,700.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and
that's
like,
what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah,
For sure.
so I'm
Good
excited
stuff,
for the season. Just the first full season, being, I'm not even gonna say being independent, but just doing this, and you know, just getting support from Grizzlies Twitter, from NBA Twitter, getting support from, you know, Bluff City Media and all that. Like, I really enjoy doing this, and you know, we'll see where it goes. But at the end of the day, like, my goal is just to raise money for St. Jude and just see what happens after that.
But that's what's up, man. I appreciate you coming on with me today.
Yeah.
It's my guy, man, Parker Fleming. Go to his Substack, man.
Substack Elitis.
Man, don't just be in there for free, man. Put your money down, man.
That's
Hey,
right.
just a big shout out to
St.
Parker,
Jude.
man. He helped. You know, when Bluff City Media got started, man, we reached out to Parker and we started talking to him. And man, I just want to say, from Bluff City Media, man, we appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
All the work you've done, even before Bluff City Media with Grizzly Bear Blues, but then even helping, you know, kind of get us off the ground. And man, it was a sad day when we found out you were moving on, but man, we're proud of you, and we're excited to still be kind of partners in contact with you and all that kind of stuff. So thank you, man.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that for sure. 'Cause I mean, at the end of the day, you know, Bluff City Media gave GBB a home after everything that went down. But I mean, everyone's killing it. You know, you have your usual partners in crime like Joe and Sean, but P Shark is crushing it so far as y'all's Grizzlies beat writer.
Yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to, you know, interacting with him more this season, catching up with him at games, just seeing how he grows and attacks this opportunity. But you know, I appreciate you having me on. You know, I like
you know what it is,
chopping it up with the Tribal Chief.
The Tribal Chief has been this joint.
That's right. So I appreciate it big time.
See it. My man Parker Fleming, go check him out. Check out his Substack. Like I said, donate to a very worthy cause to the patients of St. Jude. Parker Fleming in the building, y'all. We're about to take a break. When we come back, it's a three-pointer here on Anthony Sain Show. See y'all in a minute.
Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
But there is someone I want to talk about, someone that you and I are big fans of, and he is becoming really a superstar in front of our eyes, and that is Chandler Martin, the transfer from East Tennessee State. He's the modern-day linebacker. He's a little bit undersized, but he's fast, he's physical. Yeah. He can cover. This guy can do everything, and he has been incredible for this Memphis defense. And we talk about this all the time, like coming in from smaller schools, how does it translate? And Chandler is a guy that sold out quickly, and everything is translated extremely well and very fast. And he is so impressive for this defense.
He really does stand out for the Tigers. When he puts his hands on a guy, when he puts his pads on a guy, he makes an impact. Like he's not a speed guy who doesn't know how to tackle.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
I meant to ask this earlier. Is this the biggest game for Memphis football since what?
Biggest game overall?
I think the Cotton Bowl is in a league of its own. So outside of the Cotton Bowl, this game is the biggest game for Memphis football since blank.
Since probably the second game against Cincy to go to the Cotton Bowl.
The 2019.
Home game. Yeah. I mean, what do you say?
That's probably right. I don't know. Yeah. 2019 Cincinnati. I think it's... You can't use anything in the last 2 years.
I don't know that it's as big as that one, but since then, this is probably the biggest.
Yeah, I think I would agree. 2019 Cincinnati.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Edge of the Sain Show. My man, Parker Fleming. Great interview with him, man. Like I said, again, make sure you're supporting his Substack. Just donate to the cause regardless, man. Like he said, it's free to read his content on there. But if you wanted to donate to St. Jude, he definitely is encouraging you to do that on his Substack. Shout out to my man, Parker Fleming, once again. The three-pointer, where we talk about three things going on in the world of sports. Number one, Kenny Stubblefield, Mikey Williams is officially going to trial for the gun charge thing that he had. Not just a gun charge. He was accused of actually taking shots at people, if I'm not mistaken. A lot of people are talking about they wish Penny had let this go a long time ago. I'm going to make this short and sweet, man. I do not mind the way that Penny Hardaway has played this. And I'll say that because, first of all, you landed a top recruit, a top freshman. You got him to commit to your school. You showed empathy for the kid by that, which is also good PR, so that you would have his back through everything he's going through. And now the legal system is taking that out of your hands. Like, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to cut this kid. You don't have to come out and cut ties with him. The legal system is taking this out of your hands. Like, I mean, he's not going to play. And that's, we see that now. I think it's unfortunate for him. I hate that he's, this whole thing has went down the way it has, because Mikey's a talent. He's a very good player that you could have either this year or next year. But I think that I don't care about what people are saying about bad PR.
I don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, those things don't matter, man. Like, at the end of the day, he's never gonna play for Memphis. The story about Mikey Williams is not a new story. It happened a long time ago. This thing's been dragging out the entire time. No one cares about it. Like, we know he already committed to Memphis. He got into what he did. Seeing updates about it, nobody cares. But when that basketball hits the court and Memphis is a good team, that's what people care about.
I just want to put this idea of bad PR into perspective. Penny Hardaway, legendary across the globe in terms of basketball, coming out from Memphis, played ball for his hometown school, went to the Orlando Magic, was if not for his injuries, would have been one of the best players to ever play the game, has a shoe that is one of the best-selling shoes, has never had any bad publicity ever. When he became the head coach of Memphis, the PR, the hit jobs by national media against him has been unbelievable. Unbelievable, all because he replaced Tubby Smith at Memphis. If you think that anything that Penny would have done, there's nothing that Penny can do to change the narrative about the University of Memphis basketball program or about the city of Memphis with Mikey. There's nothing that he can do to change that narrative. The only thing he can do is just go out and win. Go out and win games, win a championship, and all that.
Who cares?
All that will shift.
It really don't matter.
It doesn't matter. If Penny Hardaway can't change it, then the narrative is not going to change, whether you bring Mikey in or whether you cut him loose a long time ago. Like, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah, and like I said, he doesn't have to make a decision on anything. Like,
it's over.
It's over. He ain't playing.
Yeah.
He probably, and I hate to throw this, I hate to kind of like throw him away because this is a kid that's facing a murder.
He's a human being.
He's not a murder. He's facing an attempted murder case, right?
I think it's assault with a deadly weapon. I don't think it's attempted murder.
That's what I'm saying. I don't want to desensitize that part of it, but as far as people worrying about University of Memphis' reputation, why? Like, it is what it is. It's not like he can't play. He's going to be facing trial. So, it is what it is. Number 2, also University of Memphis related, Billy Richmond III updated his recruiting list, and he's cut it down to 4 teams, Kenny Stubblefield, and the University of Memphis is still on it. Told you guys the other day, do not count Memphis out. These things between grown men business, like I talked about, this stuff happens. I think Memphis is one of 2 teams in the running when it comes down to it. Those teams on that list are Memphis, Kentucky, Alabama, and LSU. Who knows? We'll see how that turns out. I don't know date as far as when he's making decisions came out at all. But yeah, man, I'm not tripping about that at all. I think, we'll see.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to root it out because of the disagreement between Billy Richmond II and Penny Hardaway. Where you bet on it? How you feel?
No, I mean, I think it's a 2-horse race. Mm-hmm. I think it's between Kentucky and Memphis. Yeah. It is interesting to me. He did announce that he's going to be taking an Alabama visit, an official visit soon. Yeah, which will be his final visit that he's able to take. Mm-hmm. One of those officials. It's always interesting, man. If you're a local university and you want to get a kid, you either try to go first or you go last, right, in terms of official visits. So, Alabama's kind of new in this in terms of the recruitment, but I think when it's all said and done, it's going to be down between Kentucky and Memphis.
There were rumblings about LSU as far as some people are saying don't rule out LSU because you've got Curtis Gibbons III down there, right, and Billy Richmond III. There were some rumblings.
Are they close like that?
I don't know at all.
Because they didn't play high school ball together.
Yeah, I heard there was some rumblings those two might want to get together or link up or whatever. But it seemed like something like that would be linking up at Memphis. I don't see why they would want to link up at LSU. I think the Memphis part is just kind of natural, like being 2 hometown kids or whatever. But I don't know how that's going to go down. I'm not really too concerned about that. But Billy Richmond III, of course, narrowing his list down to 4. Number 3, excited about this with Kenny Stubblefield. Tiger football has a huge game coming up this weekend. I had a week
it's coming up tonight, Anthony.
Tonight.
Friday night.
What's today?
Today is this Thursday. Episode comes out on Friday.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, my bad. Yeah. Tonight. Man. Yeah, tonight, y'all. Tonight.
In 6 hours.
yeah, in 6 hours. Yeah, there you go. University of Memphis takes on Tulane. The game has been hyped up during this off week. Promotions, giveaways, hype videos. Brandon Baumgartner talking crazy to the most insignificant fan base probably in college football history.
Hey, we do want to clarify. We do need to clarify one thing. Mm-hmm. Brandon is not 30.
Oh, he's not 30. He's 28.
He's 28.
Yeah, bro, you 30.
He's 30.
He might as well be 30, fam. You closer to 30 than you are 21, fam.
Even 25.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, man. So the biggest thing I believe about this game, Kenny Stubblefield, between Memphis and Tulane, is a special celebrity guest that will be there.
Got some badass seats from what I understand.
Man, I put I'm talking about myself, of course. Yes. Celebrity guest that will be in the building. Not as big as Gabriel Sain, who
That's right.
Is my son.
It is Gabriel Sain you're bringing to the game,
yes,
right?
Gabriel Sain, that Gabriel Coon. That's how you bring it to the game. For those who have inquired. In my DM, his DM, yours. Oh, man, y'all is a strange bunch, man. Y'all act like you know me. Act like you know everything about me. Between, y'all want to say I ain't got no job. What else they want to say? They want all this stuff. I can't keep a woman. What do you say? I've had people take those type of shots at me a lot. Like, couldn't keep my ex-wife happy.
Dang.
That's why my son don't live with me. And
well,
just be saying the dumbest stuff in the world,
sick stuff, man.
But they know everything about me, but they don't know that my son is Gabe, and it's not Gabe Coon. I'm trying to, go to the game.
You're trying to bring your son to the game, who, guess what, is also a football player.
Yeah, 2030, I think. 2028, no.
Have you had an official with Colorado yet?
No, he's not. He is a heavy Colorado lean, for those of you who are wondering.
I'm crystal balling to Colorado already.
5-star. He's in fourth grade now.
Yeah.
So 8 years from now, 2031, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 2031. No, 32. 2032 offensive lineman.
Yep.
5-star Gabriel Sain will be in the building. This is an unofficial visit for him as well. But like I threw it out there like, yeah, man, I need some tickets. I was expecting somebody to shoot me some tickets, and I had several offers Probably had about 10 people offer me tickets, man. And the first one I took, some told me to just go ahead and take the first one you get, right? Even though I got plenty after that. He shot the tickets, emailed them over. I got them in my wallet on my phone. And I looked at where they are. I was like, good God. Like, these tickets are fire. And I sent you where they are too, man.
Yeah, you did.
Oh, yeah. So I'm going to be in the building. They taking care of me and Gabe. Still working on that parking pass. But I'm confident that by the time you guys see this show, I'll have that parking pass in tow as well. I'm looking forward to it, though, man. Like I said, I'm not a fan. Like, I'm not invested in Tiger football. I want them to do well. Like, I think I can name, let me see. How many dudes can I name?
Uh-oh.
I can name 3. Okay. I can name 3 players.
All right.
Seth Hennigan.
Yes. Starting QB1.
Yep. Crap. Rock Taylor.
Yes, sir.
He's a receiver, right? Yeah.
Receiver.
Damn.
Third-year receiver.
And I'm forgetting the tailback. I can't think of his name. I know it, but I don't know it. Tell me the initials.
BW.
You lying, bro. His name is not BW. What's the last name?
Watson.
Blake Watson.
Blake Watson.
There it is, man. Stop playing with me, bro. I got your 3 players right there.
Hey, and you don't know what's crazy? Those 3 players are probably the key to the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Like,
that's a big 3.
Those are your big 3. You got to get Blake Watson.
I'll be watching the games and shit, man.
I know.
I'll be watching.
See, I'm telling you, man, like, this is you're going to be there cheering as a fan, man. You're going to be there. You're going to have a good time. It's going to be live.
The weather's going to be nice.
Beautiful.
Weather's going to be nice. You know, Gabe's
it's
going to be
supposed to rain a little bit, but man.
No, I ain't coming. If it's raining, I ain't coming.
I'm hoping it's not
I'm letting you know
raining.
right now, if it's raining, I'm delete all this. this one ain't coming. But yeah, it's going to be a good game, man. I'm excited to be there. Y'all leave me alone. I'm going to be with my kid. Talk crazy, might get slapped in front of 12,000. How many people we expecting to be there? 15, 20, 30?
Nah, bro. I would say probably 35.
Yeah, you might get slapped from 35 if you say something dumb.
I say 35. It's a Friday night. I mean, like, what else is there to do in Memphis on a Friday night?
I've heard that before.
Like, come on. It's the biggest game. You know, TJ and Trey over at Tigers Untapped asked this question in their show the other day. They said, is this the biggest game since when? And it's that 2019 AAC championship game against Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Right.
See, I knew that. I knew they played Cincinnati 2019.
Right.
Yeah, come on, man. Act like I ain't no fan.
Who did they play the week? Who did they beat before that AAC championship game? Who did they play the week before?
A lot of me. Houston.
Nah, Cincinnati.
Huh? Oh yeah, they played them back to back. Yeah, right. I do remember that. Yep. I remember that now.
Beat them 2 times in a row, 2 weeks in a row.
I remember they got on their ass, and it was twice at the Liberty Bowl, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man. So I'll be in the building. I'm excited to be around the barrage. Know what they call it?
The ambush.
The ambush. There you go. The onslaught.
The onslaught.
Yeah.
Now the ambush.
Yeah, I'm gonna be
they've been nice this year, man. They've been good. Man. They've been good.
Tiger football doing it. My
question is, here's the question. Percentage chance you're gonna participate in the swag serve.
Shit. Man, 0.
Come on.
If Gabe wanna do it, I might.
It gets crazy in there.
I might look that up on YouTube, man. They do that in the section I sent you to? Or is that for the regular people?
That's for everybody.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. All right, well, yeah, I'll be there, man. I'm excited. You win this game. You're looking like the best team on the outside to possibly get into. I think you'll be the best team on the outside. Looking at, getting into one of the New Year's Six Bowls.
The New Year's Six Bowl. The Fiesta Bowl would be where we're going. We'd be going to Atlanta, Anthony.
Yep.
You
Fiesta. Yep.
If they go to the Fiesta Bowl, you got to go with me.
All right, I'm going.
All right.
And if you got cash money, you got to feel this shit. I'm going.
Let's go.
Oh, can we sing R. Kelly? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay. So you can just, beep all it out if you had to. But anyway, we're going to take a break, man. When we come back, Inside the Sain brand is next here on Anthony Sain Show. See you guys in a minute.
What do you think the crowd's going to look like? Is it going to be our biggest of the season? Coach threw in 2,500 tickets himself, which at 20 a pop is a good little check he wrote. Do you think he actually did that?
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I think he paid something. I'm sure they probably gave him the tickets for like $2 a ticket or something. He wrote a little $5,000.
I don't know. I think he paid for him.
I think it'll be a decent crowd.
I don't know.
I think it's gonna be between 30 and 35-ish. I'll settle on like a 33, 32.
It's Friday, right? Friday games just typically don't do that great.
I know people don't want to hear it. It's the reality of the situation. You almost have to have a perfect storm of no storm at the perfect time on a Saturday where the crowds are typically weak.
I will say the weather's going to be fantastic.
Don't jinx it, but it should be a beautiful
at a
evening.
metal desk.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
There is a big game coming up on Friday night against Tulane. Obviously has huge implications for the American, for the AAC championship game, for potential New Year's Six Bowl. Like, this is the game of the year. This team is not Tulane of last year. Yes, they're a good football team, but without a guy like Tajay Spears, who scored his first touchdown in the NFL on Sunday and is basically splitting snaps with Derrick Henry for the Tennessee Titans right now, like, Tulane is not the same team without him. They're still good. I'm not saying they're not good.
Yeah.
But they're much more beatable than they were last year. They were extremely, extremely good. That was a very good team. They lost a lot of really good players from that team, and now you have this game, which ultimately could decide the American, depending on what happens the rest of the year.
Tune in to On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel. Bluff City Media and Bluff City NIL are proud partners of Coaching for Literacy, a Memphis nonprofit using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. When you donate to Bluff City NIL through Coaching for Literacy, your gift is 100% tax deductible. This partnership is a win-win-win. Tiger student athletes win in the NIL landscape. Coaching for Literacy wins by engaging Tiger student athletes in this monumental cause. And most importantly, elementary students in Memphis receive support to become strong readers. To donate today, visit coachingforliteracy.org/bluff-city.
All right, y'all, welcome back to Inside the Same Brain. Final segment of the show. Once again, shout out to my man Parker Fleming, doing big things with the Substack Elitist, Substack, over there on Substack, where he does make donations to St. Jude. Him and his wife, of course, he said, has just been a survivor, overcomer, man. And, I hope you guys consider donating to what they're doing on his through his Substack. Shout out to him for the money he's already raised and will continue to raise over there with his Substack. But Inside the Same Brains, when I talk about something that's on my mind, this is another non-medicated version. I've just been leaning on my eye drops here lately for my glaucoma. I've not been using any other medicinal methods, so I haven't really had much on my brain, Kenny Stubblefield. But the thing that has been on my brain, that has been forced on my brain, unfortunately, is the Will Smith, Jada Pinkett news that came out. Jada Pinkett, I think she's got a book coming out or something like that, so she's doing that rollout. She's doing the podcast thing or show rollout thing or whatever she's doing. And in one of these interviews, she said that her and Will Smith have been separated since 2016. Just looking back at my own timeline, that feels like before the whole situationship. No, what was it called? Entanglement
with August Alsina.
Yeah, it seems like that was, during that time. Yeah. Plus, I thought it was already kind of known that they were separated. Like I think
everybody knew it was separate. They were separated, but they had gotten back together. Oh, I don't think anybody knew that they weren't together anymore.
I thought they had been separated this whole time. But I'll say this: there's a couple things that people are saying that are kind of annoying, and I don't care about them people like that. I mean, I'll say that, but this is the part that I think. I'll talk about people's response to it. This kind of annoying to me. This kind of getting on my nerves. There are a lot of people saying, so Will Smith got up and slapped Chris Rock over a woman that he wasn't even with. I'm a divorced man, Kenny Stubblefield. And I think that if somebody invited me and my still legally married wife to an event, and that not knowing that we aren't under the same roof, I think if I was disrespected by someone, I'm not saying if I was Will Smith, I would have slapped Chris Rock. That's a totally different discussion. But what in the hell does that have to do with anything? Is my ex-wife, I'm not going to say her name because then y'all start looking her up and saying you married a racist and all these type of things. you married a clown or you married an idiot. I don't want y'all screwing with Gabe's mom. But like that didn't have anything to do with anything, bro. Like if somebody disrespected her right now, that's still my son's mom. They probably gonna get 2-piece. Like that's like what? It's just a strange logic for people to say,
yeah.
Well, why would you do all that if y'all weren't even together? Like,
dude, these people are clearly single.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't get
these people have clearly never.
regular ass, whatever figures you make job to the type of money. These people have been rich for a long time, man, and they were a celebrity couple. And Jada Pinkett and Will Smith were very young when they got together. You know what I mean? So it's a total different level of understanding. Like Jada Pinkett can't go out and get on Tinder, and right swipe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
there's a few things that have been done over the last couple of years that I've just like. I'm thinking as my own self as a man in Memphis, as a husband, as a father. There's a few things. The one thing that she said was on her wedding day to Will, she sat at the back of the church and cried because she knew she didn't want to get married. That was to me like, as a man, I'm like going, damn.
Yeah. Here's something I thought about, man. And I'll wrap this up this way, man. A lot of times in life, people get married to appease other people. They get pressured to marry. They feel like this is what they're supposed to do. You're the hot, beautiful, young, black couple, black young power couple. Y'all need to go ahead and get married, have these kids. And you're doing these things when you probably should have waited till you're around 35 or 40
man,
to get married. Just be honest with you, man.
Come on.
Because, like, my thing is don't get married when you're pressured. Get married when you got some sense. Get married when you can make a logical decision. And we get married to people at these young ages, and you got all these kids, and they're like, man, I've grown from you, man. Like, I've got a friend who talked about those type of things where, like, he was like, man, you know, I'm married, I'm still with my wife, but we're not the same people. I'm not the person I was when I married her, and she's not the person she was when I married her either. And it's like we have to learn to like these new versions of ourselves because we're not the 20-something-year-old kids we were when we got married. So that's just something that, you know, take advice from a divorced dude who got married in his 20s. His mid-20s, 24, 25. Sometimes, man, do all that when you got some sense, man, when your brain is fully developed. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, Jada and Will, leave us alone. We don't care. I'm tired of talking about this stuff. I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing Will Smith, one of the greatest entertainers of all time, be thrown under the bus like this.
And you notice it's not him saying it.
He ain't saying nothing. Will Smith somewhere chilling or doing whatever he's doing. But yeah, there's another discussion to be had, but you can get those on one of your alpha male dating podcasts. But yeah, it's a whole nother discussion. But yeah, man, for Kenny Stubblefield, Behind the Glass, for Paris Sharkey holding it down on the boards. Shout out to my man, Parker Fleming, coming on today. This is Anthony Sain. Another great Anthony Sain show. Stay away from the media plants. Don't let them trick you, y'all. And we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.